Today we're going to dive into a really powerful passage from the Quran's second chapter, Surah Al-Baqarah. These 11 verses, from 111 to 121, they take us on this profound journey, challenging these exclusive claims to truth and guiding us away from the outward forms of religion to its universal essence. Let's get right into it.
So here's how we're going to walk through this. First, we'll tackle the big question of salvation. Then, we'll uncover the universal conditions that the Quran lays out. After that, we're going to explore worship beyond walls and creation beyond limits. And we'll wrap it all up by looking at what it means to have faith beyond demands. It's really a journey from conflict to clarity. So, right out of the gate, we're thrown into this pretty fundamental conflict. The verses confront a very human question. Who has the monopoly on God's favor? Who holds the guaranteed ticket to paradise?
The passage really puts this question front and center, doesn't it? Is salvation some kind of private club? And who exactly is holding the exclusive key?
So verse 111 lays the claim out there, plain as day. They say, none will enter paradise unless he be a Jew or a Christian. But check out the immediate response. The Quran doesn't treat this like some divine decree. No, it calls it their wishful thinking, and then issues a challenge. Produce your proof if you are truthful.
And then, verse 113 just takes it a step further. It reveals that these groups aren't just making claims for themselves, they're actively trying to invalidate each other. The Jews say, the Christians have nothing to stand on, and the Christians say, the Jews have nothing to stand on. But here's the real kicker, although they both read the scripture.
So here you have it, these two competing claims, right next to each other. And the Quran's critique here is just so powerful. It's suggesting this mutual rejection isn't coming from their scriptures, which, hey, they both have, but from something else entirely. Human bigotry, a focus on the team jersey over the actual substance of faith.
Okay, so after laying out this whole problem of exclusive claims, the passage gives us a totally radical and universal answer. Let's see what that is.
Verse 112 just pivots completely. It leaves all the group labels behind. It says, on the contrary, whoever surrenders their whole self to God while being a doer of good will have the reward with their Lord. This flips the whole script. It's not about who you are, it's about what you do and how you believe.
So this verse actually gives us two conditions. The first one is taslim, or submission. Now, this isn't passive at all. It's the complete and sincere surrender of your will to God. That is the internal essence of faith, no matter what you call yourself.
The second condition is to be a muhsin, a doer of good. This comes from the word Ihsan, which means acting with excellence, beauty, and sincerity in everything you do. It's the outward proof of that inner submission. Faith isn't just a state of being, it's a state of doing.
And there it is, the Quran's two-part path to salvation, and it's open to literally anyone. Step 1, surrender your whole self to God. Step 2, be a doer of good. It's not about the group you're in, it's about the state of your heart and the quality of your actions. Simple as that.
This theme of breaking down boundaries just keeps going. After dealing with who can be saved, the passage now asks a new question: where can God be worshipped?
Verse 114 calls out this huge injustice. And who is more unjust than one who prevents the name of God from being mentioned in his places of worship and strives for their ruin? It's a really powerful condemnation of the physical act of blocking people from prayer or destroying sacred spaces.
But then, in the very next verse, the Quran offers this incredible, profound spiritual comfort. Verse 115 says, "To God belong the east and the west, so wherever you turn, there's the presence of God." The message here is so clear. A building can be blocked, but your access to God, that can never be blocked.
Let's just pause on that for a second. Wherever you turn, there is the presence of God. I mean, that one statement just liberates worship from any specific location. It declares that God isn't trapped in a temple, or a church, or a mosque. The entire world becomes a place of worship.
Okay, so the passage is now zooming out even further. We've established that salvation and worship aren't limited, so now it turns to the nature of God himself, and it starts dismantling our limited, human ideas of the divine.
So verses 116 and 117 take on another idea. They say, God has taken a son. The response is immediate and absolute. Exalted is he. Rather, to him belongs whatever is in the heavens and the earth. It's a firm rejection of any idea that God needs an heir or a partner or any kind of physical way to create. And this brings us to a really simple but profound question. What does God actually need to create something?
And the Quran's answer is just as powerful in its simplicity.
Nothing. No partners, no helpers, no raw materials, only his will.
And this is all wrapped up in that one, ultimate, awe-inspiring command, be. In Arabic, kun fayakun. Be, and it is. It just illustrates a power that is absolute, instantaneous, and completely beyond anything we can compare it to.
So how does all this come together? Well, the passage wraps up by returning to the relationship between us and the divine, and it contrasts a faith that demands proof with a faith that simply embraces what's been revealed.
You know, verse 118 really nails this timeless feeling of doubt. Those who do not know say, "Why does God not speak to us, or a sign come to us?" This is that demand for a personalized miracle, right? A special sign just for me, as a condition for belief. It's basically trying to make faith into a transaction. This table here, it's the perfect summary of this whole journey. You can really see this consistent pattern, moving away from formalism, the outward label, and towards the essence, the inner reality. So instead of just belonging to a group, the focus is on sincere submission and good deeds. Instead of being stuck in a building, we have an omnipresent God. Instead of a God with physical needs, we have the absolute power to just say be. And finally, instead of demanding physical signs, true faith is found in living the revealed book. So, the passage leaves us with this really powerful, lingering question to think about. If salvation, worship, and faith are truly defined by their internal essence, not their external form, how does that change the way we see ourselves, and maybe even more importantly, the way we see others?